This is my first video. I'm a little nervous, so apologize if I stutter, if I ramble. I'm gonna try to do this. I've been talking about doing a YouTube channel probably for over a year now for different things, and lately a lot of my support, family, friends, have been telling me I should do one about my keto journey, my weight loss journey. It has been an excruciatingly long and tough journey up until about a year ago. And so hopefully I can take a long story and make it short. Just a little introduction. My name is Andrea and I've gone keto. I went keto last year on June 1st of 2018, the day after I had a radical hysterectomy for severe endometriosis. And I had been kind of dabbling with low carb for a little while, doing a lot of homework, looking at a lot of websites, reading a lot of articles, watching a lot of videos. I had several friends who were doing keto and having amazing results. And I just decided that I was tired of being tired. I was tired of hurting. I was tired of being in constant pain. I had developed arthritis in my right hip. I was constantly exhausted, and now I'd had a hysterectomy and my hormones were already screwed up, and they were just gonna go completely off the charts now since they took everything out. Anyway, and a little bit of backstory. In 2007, I struggled with my weight all my life. I was always the fat kid in class. I was always the big girl. I was always the one who developed first, and I had to wear, I was a fifth grader going and buying women's size clothes and not getting to go to the junior side or whatever. I just skipped right to plus size, and it was heartbreaking as a kid. My teenage years were difficult. I was the big kid in class, and everybody picked on me and teased me and bullied me, and I tried different things. My mom would restrict me from foods, and I would sneak food. And I was a carb addict, I was a sugar addict, and I would starve myself at school because I didn't want people to see me eat. I was embarrassed. And fast forward into my adulthood, and I was working at a job that I was on the phone with customer service, and I was that operator. I was the customer service operator, and it was a very stressful job. And not only that, but I was the office that I worked in was a union office, and I was decided that I was going to be a union steward in my office. And so I took that stress on in addition to stress of the job itself, and it just took its toll on me. And the way I would deal with stress was I would eat. And I ended up being almost 400 pounds. I honestly can't tell you what that I know what my highest weight was, but my highest known recorded weight was the day I went in and had a lap band surgery. I was 378 pounds. And I had already lost about at least 10 or 20 pounds before the day of the surgery. So yeah, I was big. It was huge. I was wearing a size 5X in most things, and even those were starting to get tight. I was size 30, 32 in women's, and again, those were starting to be uncomfortable. So I went with the lap band because at the time, you know, that was the big thing, and everybody was doing the weight loss surgery. And I went with the lap band because I didn't want to go in and completely chop up my system. That made me nervous to be able to go in and have my stomach rerouted and cut in half, and it just, there were so many complications. It just scared me. So I figured the lap band was a safer option. It didn't really cut up my intestines or my stomach. It just restricted them. They could be adjusted, tightened, loosened. It could come out and my stomach would still be intact. So I thought, okay. I had a couple adjustments, and then a year after my surgery, I quit my job. I took they were downsizing, and I took a package, and to save someone from getting laid off, I voluntarily took a severance package. And I was done with the job. It was so stressful. It was great insurance, great pay, but I just couldn't physically handle the stress of it anymore. So I decided I'm gonna leave. But when I left, I lost my insurance. And the jobs that followed at the time, they had some clause where first one was pre-existing stuff. It was jumping through hoops and stuff to get approvals with pre-existing, and so I never ended up doing anything with that. And then I ended up a year later switching jobs again, and again wasn't sure of all the technicalities of pre-existing and how I was going to get it approved and all that stuff. So I just kind of left it as it is. It wasn't so bad. It did restrict me still. My carb intake, like for example, rice and pasta and breads, I could still eat them, but in limited quantities, or I would throw up. So, you know, it did kind of start me down the low carb path without knowing that it was going to do that. So as I progressed, I did lose some weight. I went from 378 the day of surgery to about 336. And I hung at that area for a while, for many years. It didn't matter what I ate. I could eat ice cream, I could eat chocolate, I could eat cake, I could eat, you know, pasta within limited amounts. I could eat, you know, whatever. And I stayed right there. So I was content. I wasn't happy, but I was content because I wasn't gaining. I wasn't losing, but I wasn't gaining. So it was okay. Fast forward a couple years. Before my surgery, before I had my lap band and all that, I had dated someone. It ended up being a very abusive relationship. We were on and off for 3 years. And after that finally ended, I had sworn off dating for a while. And so after my surgery and after getting down a little bit, losing a little bit of weight, I started to think, maybe I need to start dating again. So I started looking. I put myself out there on a couple of online dating sites for, plus size people. I did meet somebody. I met my husband, the man who is now my husband, and he was very supportive. He was very encouraging, but at the same time, he was like, babe, you're fine. You're fine just the way you are. If you never lost another pound and you stayed this way for the rest of your life, as long as you're healthy and not medically needy, it's not, your health isn't causing medical issues, you're fine. Okay. He says, but if you want to do something to lose your weight, I'm right there. Okay. We ended up having some kids. We have 2 boys, which at that point, I was 36, never thought I was going to have kids. I had dated for a couple years and didn't really use protection. I honestly couldn't, because I couldn't use birth control because of high blood pressure. And so, I was thinking that maybe I'm one of those people that I just can't, I just can't get pregnant. And miracle of miracles, I got pregnant twice with 2 boys, like I said, and we got married. And with my children, I actually lost some weight with my pregnancies. Most women that I know, 98% of them gain weight with their pregnancies. I was one of the rare few who, during my pregnancy, maintained, never gained a pound, and after my pregnancy, lost weight. And I went down to, right after my second child, I went down to right around 300 and hovered right there between 3 and 310. And I was like, okay, this is great. I'm down a little bit more. My clothes fit better, but I'm still big. Still big. I still feel like crap. I've lost some weight now, and I still feel like crap. What's going on? So I started doing a little homework, a little research, and a friend of mine had sent me this weight loss challenge thing, and it was basically a low carb-ish, paleo-ish kind of diet. And I started looking into it. It was very expensive for this coach to do her thing and have one-on-ones and stuff, and I just couldn't afford it. But I started looking at her food list, and I'm like, maybe. Let me dabble in it and see if it's something I can do. So I started kind of heading down that road in experimentals, and this was in about 2017. So I was starting to look into some of the paleo stuff. I was looking at this particular diet and trying different recipes, and some of them were great and some of them were just horrible. And so as I kept doing homework and kept doing research and looking into a lot of stuff, I started noticing some of my good friends on Facebook that were doing this lifestyle, that they called it, of keto. I was like, what the heck is keto? Okay. So I started doing my homework on that. And I found a couple of YouTube channels that were doctors who were endorsing this lifestyle and were explaining the medical benefits of doing this lifestyle, and were talking about how great they felt and how their patients felt, and reversing type 2 diabetes, and helping with mental health, and helping with hormone levels, and helping with, you know, arthritis, and this and this and this, and the list kept going on and on and on. And so I was like, okay, this isn't very far off from what I'm already doing, so let's give it a shot. So having done the low carb thing, I had lost another 10 pounds or so, 10 or 15 pounds. So I had gotten myself down to somewhere in the neighborhood of about 280-ish. Actually, I lost a little bit more. So I got myself down to around 280-ish. 280, 285, kind of bounced around a little bit. I think I kind of went up a little bit to 290 at one point. But then when my husband and I were talking about maybe having a third child, we were having fertility issues, and I was starting to have a lot of, like, my cramping issues were bad. They were always bad. But it was getting worse, and I was having a pain on my right side that, you know, twice a month, and it was those cycles, you know. So I had gone to a gynecologist. They misdiagnosed me horribly, and ended up switching, finding a wonderful gynecologist who went in and did a, you know, full workup and said, hey, look, you know, your ovaries are covered with something. And I have a very in-depth family history on my mom's side of ovarian cancer and breast cancer. You don't carry the BRCA gene marker, but you got a family history. So let's play on the side of safe. Let's take it all. It was heartbreaking, not being able to have that third child, but at the same time, sorry, I'm gonna be here for the two that I have. You know, it was kind of one of those, because we found out that it wasn't cancerous, it was just really horrible endometriosis. And, you know, looking back, hindsight, I wish it was something that I had known about when I was younger, because doing low carb keto might have fixed that, and it might have, you know, repaired all that. But, you know, it is what it is, and we're moving on. Today's a new day, and I have two beautiful little boys who amaze me every day, and I'm here for that. So that's what I'm thankful for every day. So, you know, the day after my surgery, I did some really hard thinking, and I thought, you know, I am here for my kids, and I need to get healthy for my kids, and I need to be here for them. And so that was when I decided, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this. It's going to be hard because I am such a carb addict and I am a sugar addict. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it. And I did it, and I've been doing it, and I'm still doing it. And I don't plan on stopping doing it. I am now, I am now almost 16 months on keto, and I am down to 213 pounds. When I started, I was around 280, so I've lost almost 70 pounds or thereabouts. give or take a pound, because you do fluctuate a little. And I feel so much better. My labs are great. My arthritis rarely flares up. Occasionally when the weather starts to change and the barometer gets funky, my arthritis will, flare up a little. But I went from a size 30 to now I am a size 18. And I'm the happiest I've ever been. So, now of course, having that weight loss and doing so well, everybody's like, oh, you need to tell everybody. And I do have a lot of my friends and family that come to me and say, okay, I've read about it, I'm confused, what do I do? So I explain to them how it goes. Is keto for everybody? Personally, I think it is. Is the way I do keto perfect for you? It's hard to say. I can't tell you that. So basically, in a nutshell, that's my story. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. And I'm hoping by starting this channel that I can help encourage other people who are struggling with their weight and have struggled with their weight. And not so much their weight, because I still have another 40 to 50 pounds to get to my goal weight. And I'm, it's still a daily struggle. I still walk into a store and, I'm in the grocery store and there's the candy right there. And I still want that Reese cup. I still want that Snicker bar. I still want the Twix bar. But for me, my motivation not to get that and not to grab that chocolate chip cookie is to remind myself every day of how much pain I was in. If I can have that cookie, sure, enjoy it. But how are you going to feel in an hour? How are you going to feel tomorrow? My husband and my family, they don't do keto. My mom has started doing it, and she lives with us. And so, it's made it a little easier because now I can make a meal and she will have some of it as well. But, my husband doesn't do keto, so I still make rice for him. I still make mashed potatoes. I do cook better for him, and his lab numbers are starting to show that. I cook with good oils. I don't use canola oil or vegetable oil. I use butter, bacon grease, lard, olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. My fat of choice is butter. But so his health is improving slightly, which is just an unforeseen side effect, which I'm happy about. But I still cook those things, and I have to mentally remind myself that if I eat that, I will physically hurt. I decided one day I was making rice for him and I wasn't sure if it was done, so I thought I'll just take a spoonful. It's not gonna, I almost could not walk the next day. I was in so much pain from all the inflammation that the rice, because I hadn't had it for so long. It had been a year since I had rice, and I took one bite, one spoonful, and my body just... So that is a reminder to me, a mental reminder to me as I'm doing this, why I'm doing this. It's not so much the weight loss. That is just the bonus package, the bonus prize. It's because I don't want to hurt anymore. I don't want to physically not be able to get up and be with my kids, or get down on the floor and do Legos with my kids, or go outside and take a walk, or whatever it is. And for that is why I keto. So find your purpose, find your reason, and then from there, find what works for you. And everybody's different as far as what keto means to them and what works for them. Some people can have a little bit higher carbs than others, and some people can have the vegetables, and some people can't. I have to limit the types of vegetables that I have. I have to limit, you know, I have to make sure that the items that I eat don't have wheat and don't have rice, because of how they inflame my body. So hopefully I can, as I go along my keto journey in life, I can help guide you through your keto journey in life, and we'll get to a great place together. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I hope to have many, many more with lots of good, informative, science-based information to help you along your journey, and we can take this journey together. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and I appreciate watching. Bye. Have a great day.